come to the end of another week in Bible class. And as you see, we're in a little bit of a different location than normal. I love coming out to places by the water. It's quiet, and it just helps me process through things that are going on in my life. As I think back and process through this past week, we've been answering the question, is Christianity true? There are so many other religions and worldviews out there. How can we be sure that we are following the right path? Now, if you've ever struggled with that question, that is very normal. In fact, you would be joining many of your classmates this year, and you'd be joining me as well. How do we know that Christianity is the only way to get to heaven? We started this week off with the story of the Apostle Thomas, doubting Thomas, and we saw how Jesus did not reject him because he wanted proof. At the same time, though, Jesus in that moment challenged him and told him that he needed to take a step of faith. God has filled our world with proof, but the final step to believing is always that step of trusting that what God says is true and that what God says is right. Then the next day, we discussed evidences for the existence of God. We learned that creation is one of the biggest proofs that God is real. I mean, look around you. The water cycle, the way that plants begin to grow in the spring, the fact that you and I are living and breathing. This could not have happened on accident. Our world was created on purpose for a purpose. And then next we answered the question, was Jesus real? Did he really walk this earth? Did he really do miracles? Did he suffer under Pilate? Did he rise again on the third day? And the answer was an overwhelming yes. We just scratched the surface of evidences. We opened up some of these Jesus biographies written by first century believers and apostles. We looked at an influential Roman politician's affirmation of Jesus' death, and we read one of the most famous Jewish historians, Josephus, who questioned if it was possible to even call Jesus human because of his miraculous life. And then on the fourth day of our journey, we virtually explored the world from the comforts of our desk chairs as we mapped some of the impact of Christianity. From Harvard University to the orphanages of Bristol, England, through a small Christian hospital in Africa, to an unreached tribe, God's people are everywhere, making a massive impact. They are teaching, they're caring, they're healing, they're creating written languages. Why? Because of their Christian faith motivates them to do good to others. And today we're back where we left off at day one. Is Christianity the only true worldview? Our minds are filled with some more evidences, some more tools that argue that our worldview is true, but that is not enough. The reason we are here today by this beautiful water is because of a conversation that Jesus had with Peter. A conversation that was in some ways about the same topic that we've been talking about. This interaction took place on an early morning by the water. And I imagine that the disciples were filled with excitement as they gathered around Jesus. Their leader, their teacher, their friend had risen from the dead just a few days ago. But I also imagine that Peter would have been awkwardly off to the side. I imagine he felt sick to his stomach. He had denied knowing Jesus 3 times. That was not a bro move to Jesus. He was convinced that he was in Jesus' doghouse today. But Jesus is not done with Peter. He turns to him and asks him 3 times, "Do you love me, Peter?" Now it's interesting the questions that Jesus did not choose to ask on that early morning by the water. He did not ask, "Peter, do you believe in me?" He did not ask, "Peter, how many doubts do you have?" He did not ask, "Peter, do you have enough know-how about me to answer your own questions and doubts?" No. Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" At the end of this week, Jesus is asking us the same question. Student, do you love me? You might not have all the answers. You may have a lot of questions, in fact. And you probably will get more doubts as the years roll by. But for now, all Jesus is asking you, do you love me? Love is that final step of trust as we move to accepting the gospel message. Now, hopefully this week has been an encouragement to you and has given you new tools to defend your faith. But even if you forget all of the facts, it is my prayer that you choose to respond to Jesus in the same way that Peter did on that early morning by the water. Lord, he said, do you know that I completely, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% love and trust you? May we have that same response to it.